guys? Andrew here with Bob Ruth Ford in Dillsburg, PA. Today, we are in the new 2019 Ford Explorer. And of course, we will be going over everything about this one for you guys. So as always, let's start with pricing. And so there will be several different trim levels available for the 2019 Explorer. First one being the base. That is going to start at $32,365. Then you have the XLT for $34,400. Limited is going to start at $42,765. Sport is going to start at $46,625. And lastly, the Platinum, which we are again in today, that one is going to start at $54,165. And to go along with those choices of trim levels, you will have 3 different engine setups available as well, mostly specific to the trim level though. For instance, that base and XLT trim level is going to give you a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6, putting out 290 horsepower, 255 pound-feet of torque. Power is going to be set to the front wheels, which will come standard. However, there is an intelligent 4-wheel drive system available, and MPG numbers on that one are going to come in at 17 in the city, 24 on the highway. But then next engine setup is going to be for the Limited. It is going to be optional on the base and XLT trim level. That engine setup is going to be a 2.3 liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder engine. That one puts out 280 horsepower, 310 pound-feet of torque. Again, front wheel drive standard, intelligent 4-wheel drive optional. MPG numbers increased on that one because it is turbocharged, coming in at 19 in the city, 27 on the highway. But then last engine setup is going to be exclusive to the Sport and Platinum trim levels. This is the one we have today, and this one is a 3.5 liter twin turbocharged 6-cylinder engine, putting out 365 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque. Power is only going to be sent to all wheels through Ford's intelligent 4-wheel drive system, giving you MPG numbers at 16 in the city, 22 on the highway, and a 0 to 60 time of approximately 5.8 seconds. But it gets better because we have paddle shifters as well. So to put it in that paddle shift mode, what I'm simply going to do is put the shifter all the way to the back there, and that is going to allow me full control over the shifting here. So let's test out the paddle shifters and see how quickly they react for us. Definitely not too bad though. The acceleration is definitely on point, especially for a 3-row SUV. Very nice, but I guess I'm not surprised. It does have a twin turbo V6. So this engine setup, at least, is definitely one you do not have to worry about merging onto the highway with. But to go along with that acceleration, braking is equally important. So let's hit the brakes. Comes to a very quick stop. And when it comes to handling and ride quality, it does come with an independent front and rear suspension along with hill start assist so you don't drift backwards on steep hills. Also electronic power assist steering. And by the way, when it comes to the steering feel, it does feel quite nice, not as loose as some of the other 3-row SUVs that I've driven, so definitely appreciate that. And probably one of the first things I noticed, especially on these PA back roads here, ride quality is very much so on point. It is definitely a very smooth ride in the Ford Explorer. I can attest to that as well. And so then to go along with that smooth ride, there's actually a little dial right behind the shifter there. You might be wondering what that's for. That is the terrain management system. That's going to come standard on the Sport and Platinum trim levels. It's going to be optional on the other trims, but that is actually going to give you several different terrain management modes, so to speak, including a normal mode, which is only going to send torque to the rear wheels when necessary. There's also a mud and rut mode, which limits upshifting and allows the wheels to spin when needed. There's a sand mode, which delivers maximum torque to the wheels and keeps the transmission in the lower gears. And there is also a grass, gravel, and snow mode, which provides faster upshifts and adjusts the engine torque slightly to improve traction on surfaces with loose materials such as gravel or snow. And yet another thing I wanted to mention, the cabin inside the Explorer, it is quite quiet. The only thing I can really hear are the air vents that I have on right now in the rear, but that is about it. There is not a whole lot of road noise making its way into the cabin on this one. And when it comes to visibility, I have seen 3-row SUVs worse than this, so in my opinion, it really isn't all that bad. But enough with the driving dynamics, you guys. Let's check out the exterior of this new 2019 Ford Explorer. And so then starting up front, there are LED headlights with automatic feature that will actually come standard on every single trim level of the 2019 Explorer. If you wanted to go with the limited trim and up, you will also get LED fog lights just below with the LED signature lighting within the front headlights as well. Looking in the center there, I did want to mention that grille design and the front bumper application will differ among the trim levels. For instance, with the Sport trim level, you're going to get several more black accents throughout the exterior, and with the Platinum trim level, you're going to get some more chrome accents, for example. Then make your way to the side. The base trim will give you black door handles and black side mirrors. XLT will make those body colored door handles. Sport trim level is going to bounce you back to black door handles and black side mirrors, but with their side mirrors, they will come heated with integrated turn signals though. Limited and Platinum trim are going to give you chrome door handles, and the Platinum is also going to give you chrome side mirrors as well. But then for all trim levels, all trims will give you rear privacy glass, also roof rails for every single trim level. When it comes to the wheel setup, you will get 18-inch aluminum alloys for the base and XLT, 20-inch premium aluminum wheels for the Limited. You will get 20-inch machined aluminum wheels for the Sport, and a 20-inch unique design for the premium trim level that you're looking at right now. But then making your way to the back, there is a rear spoiler with an integrated brake light for every single trim level. Just below that, rear window wiper. And once again, for every single trim level, you will get LED tail lights as well. So love that Ford is doing the LEDs all the way around for all trim levels. That's definitely nice. And then just below it all, dual exhaust outlets with chrome tips for the base, XLT, and Limited. And I put it that way because if you go with the Sport or Platinum trim levels, you will get quad tips, but dual exhaust either way. So you guys know what I gotta do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. So now, since we are around back, the way to open that rear trunk, if you go with the Limited trim level and up, it is a hands-free lift gate. So it is a power lift gate, and if your hands were full of groceries or a golf bag or whatever, simply kick your foot underneath that rear bumper and it is going to automatically open up for you again for the Limited trim level and up. But once opened up, cargo capacity is going to come in at 21 cubic feet behind that third row. But of course, you can fold that third row down, bumping the cubic feetness up to 43.9, good bit of space there. And with all rows folded, that is going to come in at 81.7 cubic feet. But so then let's test out the rear legroom now. This is always a fun part for me being 6 feet tall. Third row legroom is going to come in at 33.3 inches. So for reference, this is how much space I have back there. When it comes to the second row legroom, that is going to come in at 39.5 inches. So again, this is how much space I have back there. Also for the second row passengers, you will find a center armrest with cup holders, and that second row actually is also going to be heated if you go with the Limited trim level and up. But now making your way to the front seats, you will find a cloth finish on the base and XLT. Leather finishes are going to come with the Limited trim level and up. Also with the Limited and up, they will come heated and ventilated. And one of the coolest parts about the front seats, at least in my opinion, is if you go with the Platinum trim level, you will get unique design elements. As you guys can see, the quilted leather on the sides of the seats there, also the Platinum designation towards the top of them. Definitely a very nice looking seat, I gotta say. And they, of course, are also very comfortable in my short little driving stint that I've done today. But perhaps the best part about the seats, you guys, is with the Platinum trim level, they are multi-contour front seats, which means they have the massage function. That is definitely pretty sweet. But so anyways, let's take a look up front here. There is a tilt and telescoping steering wheel that will come standard. It is going to come leather wrapped if you go with the XLT trim level and up, and will come heated if you go with the Limited trim level and up. And I am loving the wood grain accents that I have on the Platinum trim level that we got here today. But I digress. Let's take a look at the key here. On the one side, you have your Ford logo, and when you flip it over, lock, unlock that button to pop the rear hatch, and that remote start button as well. And by the way, that is going to be XLT trim level and up. And once again, XLT trim level and up is going to give you remote access with a push button start. So what I am simply going to do is just put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just by the driver's right knee. And so, but then once started up, tachometer is going to be on your left, speedometer is on your right. There is a fairly large digital display as well, front and center. And by the way, to control what is on that digital display, there are actually steering wheel mounted controls on both the left and the right side, because there are kind of two separate digital displays within those gauges there. So a ton of information you can scroll through if you like within that. But make your way to overall interior quality. All trim levels are going to give you an overhead sunglass holder. Limited trim level and up is going to give you ambient lighting and a universal garage door opener as well. That's pretty nice. Twin panel moonroof is going to come standard on the Platinum trim level. That's what you're looking at right now. And by the way, if you still wanted that moonroof on the other trim levels, it is available for you in case you were curious. But with this being the Platinum trim level, I have absolutely no issues with interior quality. There are soft touch materials everywhere, aluminum and wood grain accents that tie the doors into the front dash here. Also, that quilted leather you found on the seats continue onto the doors as well. And I also like that the speaker design kind of ties its way into the dash a little bit as well. So I'll get more into the speakers in a second, but definitely a very nice finish to the 2019 Explorer. But now let's take a look look at the tech display front and center here, I do want to mention if you go with the base Explorer or the XLT, you will get the standard sync system, which is still going to give you Bluetooth and audio streaming and a 6-speaker sound system. But if you go with the limited trim level and up, you will get the Sync 3 system, which is optional on the XLT, by the way. But that one is going to give you Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, meaning if you have a smartphone, you have free navigation through your smartphone that will be displayed up on that screen. By the way, it's an 8-inch color touchscreen display, so it is fairly large there. Also, you have the ability to control your climate control settings up there. A factory navigation system will come standard for the limited trim level and up. And when it comes to the sound system, the limited and sport trim levels are going to give you a Sony 12-speaker sound system. And if you go with the Platinum, you will get a premium Sony surround sound system. So that's what we got going on today. So let's turn on the radio, see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Serious amount of bass on this thing. That was ridiculous. Absolutely very crystal clear and loud. So really, for a 3-row SUV, that sound system is definitely where it's at. And so, but then the last thing on the tech display I wanted to mention is when you do put the 2019 Explorer in reverse, for every single trim level, you will get a rear view camera letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always going to lead me into safety. And so let me start on the safety side with front, side, and side curtain airbags, also driver and passenger knee airbags, and inflatable rear safety belts. Don't see that one too often, so that's pretty cool as well. Also in the back though, latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Also back there, rear child door locks. You will get an auto dimming rear view mirror with a limited trim level and up. And now the more fun stuff, blind spot information system with rear cross traffic alert for the limited trim level and up. Forward sensing system, same deal there. XLT trim level and up is going to give you that rear sensing system, so therefore the Explorer is going to beep at you a little bit if you get too close to an object, so you know not to run into that object. And since we are so lucky today, the Platinum trim level that you are currently looking at will also give you lane departure warning with lane keep assist, active park assist, and an adaptive cruise control system with collision warning and brake support. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Bob Ruth Ford. It's social media at the bottom of the screen there, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.